Welcome back to another episode of Whitney's World Podcast. I'm your host, Whitney Morgan Ward, and I am so thankful that you have tuned in wherever you're at on this planet. Thank you so much for being here. So guys, today is episode 9, and I am just so ecstatic. I can believe it because I have been really pushing and growing myself through this journey, but it is crazy that I'm literally almost to episode number 60. That's wild. So thank you guys for tuning in every week, for supporting me. I really appreciate it. This past week has been quite a journey, and I am just so excited about life and what life is just showing me and constantly giving me back in my reality, my manifestations. So my question and what I want to ask you today is, if you are listening to this and you feel like your life is meant for more, you're made for more, you feel like you have purpose and that this world and this life is not just about working and then dying. And if that is you, then you're in the right place, because this episode is packed with my life experiences that have happened to me recently and how I really have transcended and made a huge quantum leap in my life. And I did talk about this last week that I was going to talk about it this week, and I'm going to talk about it. I feel very called to really talk about what is going on spiritually in my life, as well as the life lessons and things that I can really bring you that have helped me elevate myself, elevate my life, and put me in a higher frequency. So this episode is really going to be spiritual. We're going to hit on some spiritual level stuff. So I'm really excited, and I hope that I can, by the end of this episode, that you can walk away knowing that you are made for more and that your life has purpose, and that if you just start to really tune in and tap in to what the universe is leading you and guiding you towards, you are going to see so much magic in your life unfold and really show you signs of that, because that is what I really believe all of this is about. So let's get into it. Ever since I was a little girl, I just had this feeling that I was made for more, but I never felt like I had the right guidance in the sense of like really achieving my goals and my dreams. I felt very constricted, and it's not coming from like my parents or anything. It's just more coming honestly from a religious standpoint. And I know that a lot of people are Christians that listen to my podcast, and that people have a lot of beliefs, strong beliefs when it comes to that. Now, I want to say that I am not trying to change anyone's mind. This is my genuine journey of me digging in deep and really allowing myself to open up and to hear other theories, talk about other religions to people, read about different things. Like, I've really learned, and what I wanted to do was question the things I've been taught and open myself up. And that is what I have done during my process of moving the past 2 years. I really went down a spiritual growth journey, and that is where I'm at. So I am not trying to change anyone's beliefs, and I have cultivated my own beliefs down my own path of genuine growth and opening myself up. Okay, so I want to say that. That is very important to me, that I make that clear, that I am not trying to change your mind. Your beliefs are your beliefs, And that is beautiful. And I am also a huge believer that if we were all the same, this world would be extremely boring. And we need contrast and we need difference in this world. That's what makes this world so beautiful. So hopefully that resonates with you. And if it doesn't, I don't know what to say. This is just my journey and my path. So I don't believe that we came to this planet to work and then live mundane lives. I truly, on a deep, deep level inside of my soul, believe that this life is about creation. I believe that we have come here to create. We have come here to be in connection with others and to bring our dreams into reality. That is what I believe. That is what I think. Like I've said before, I do believe that you are the creator of your reality and that you can manifest whatever you want in your life. You can manifest good or bad. That is on you and that is your decision. Now, like I said a little bit earlier, I don't know if this episode is going to be super popular to some people, but I really do believe that you have the power to change your life and to find your own truth. I don't know if that is going to be something that really sits well with a lot of people, but this is honestly really like my genuine journey of transitioning my life into a higher dimension and really finding my tribe of people. I'm very big into angel numbers, signs from the universe, and I believe that the God force in your life is constantly trying to show up and give you signals and show you that the universe and this place that we live in is literally so incredible, but it's your choice to tap in and it's your choice to decide how deep you want to go. Some people don't want to go deep. They just want to, live their lives based off of what they've been told. And some people want to question things. Some people want to experience things. And again, that's beautiful. That's what gives us contrast. And I love that. So we're going to talk about manifestation a little bit in this episode and also this new earth that I believe that we have now walked into. So manifestation is literally about knowing that your reality is going to change. This concept is very hard for people because when your 3D reality is still showing you what you do not want to see and that your manifestations have not happened yet, manifestation is literally about knowing that it's going to happen. And I have known that my life is changing and transcending for a long time. Ever since I got into this work, I have always had this faith and belief that I am going to create a better reality for myself and that I am going to make my dreams and goals come true. And even though sometimes I do not see it happening, it's crazy, like because I've done so much reprogramming in my mind. And I have just listened to so many people that teach on manifestation, and I've seen that their lives have been transformed. I now live in this knowing state as well. And I also believe that the biggest part of manifestation is raising your vibration and changing your emotions to emotions of joy, emotions of happiness and appreciation. When you have gratitude for what you have, the universe will bring you more. But the problem is that so many people are not grateful for what they have. And when you are not grateful for what you have, you cannot be given more. It's like Christmas. When someone gives you a gift, if you're not thankful for the gift, they don't want to give you something else because you're ungrateful. So it's the same thing with the universe. When you are grateful for what you have and you are calling in your manifestations and you are happy and you basically force yourself to raise your vibration, that is when you start to manifest your manifestations and they actually start coming true. So this journey is emotional. And if you cannot control your emotions and be happy and be filled with gratitude all the time, then again, your manifestations are not going to come true. So as I've really gotten into manifestation work, something that I hear a lot is quantum leaping, that you quantum leap into your reality. When you change your internal state, like you reprogram yourself, then all of a sudden you have this moment where your reality changes, like your manifestations come true. And right before you quantum leap into your new reality, your past is going to rear its head in your life because the universe is testing you. The universe wants to make sure that like you're solidified and that you're ready for these new things that you're calling in. So you might be getting unwanted bills. You might be getting someone from your past that tries to show up, or someone in your reality that tries to make you angry and trigger you. This is going to happen right before your manifestations come to. And you just need to say like, no, thank you. That is not for me. I have moved on and that is where I'm at. And this is crazy because I'm going to tell you guys about a personal experience I had when I quantum leaped. But right before this even happened to me, my past was trying to come in like strong. All of a sudden, this guy I used to talk to followed me and then like sent me a DM, and I was like, absolutely not, bro. Cause like basically he ghosted me and now you're like trying to pop up like 8 months later. Absolutely not. I'm good. So then he disappeared, thankfully. But then the craziest thing that happened was I got a call from an attorney asking me to testify on a case from my past. And I was like, absolutely not. Well, actually, I thought about it, but then I just realized, I'm like, why would I open that door? Like I closed that door. I'm so far removed from my past. I've worked so hard to be here. And the only thing that I can describe is I felt like what was happening was like my life was getting so much better. And like I had, all these houses under contract, like things were just going really well. And it was like this black smog that just slowly tries to come in and take over. And I was like, nope. And I closed the doors and all that stuff went away. But when you are like manifesting, your past is going to try to creep up on you. So just be aware of that and don't let it, because you don't want to backtrack. You want to continue to move forward. Okay. So this is my quantum leap experience and story. So on July 15th, so like 14 days ago, a couple weeks ago, I was outside on my patio and I walked inside. And when I was walking inside, my vision like went black. But it's weird because at the same time that my vision went black, it was like my vision like waved. That's the only way I could describe it. And all I could think was that was weird, and I moved on. So a couple days later, I ended up showing a house to a client and definitely supposed to meet him. We're actually under contract, so that's amazing. But it was like one of those moments where you just meet someone and you know that you're supposed to meet, like you just have this piece. Like this was a relationship that I was supposed to that was supposed to happen in my reality. And we talked about amazing things, and he got to share his life story with me, which is incredible and definitely meant to be. So I end up showing him this house for the second time. We're upstairs, and as I was walking towards the laundry room, the same thing happened to me. My vision went black, but at the same time that happened, it was like my vision waved, and it was like a split second. It was so quick. And all I could remember, or all I could think of was, oh my gosh, my reality just shifted. Like, I just quantum leaped. Like, oh my gosh. And the craziest part about this was I have never, ever heard anyone talk about a quantum leap happening internally. I always heard that they were manifesting and then their external world shifted and changed, or they had this massive blow up or breakthrough or something, right? And that's amazing. But I've never heard anyone talk about a shift that happened internally and that they literally experienced inside their body and like through their vision. Like, it happened with one of my five senses, which is absolutely wild. I realized in that moment that the same thing will happen to you again and again until you learn the lesson or until you become aware of what the universe is trying to show you. And of course, my number two, it happened the second time. So that is just confirmation in my own personal life that I'm on the right track and that my reality shifted. I did quantum leap. Like, even though everything in my external reality has not blown up and I haven't had this like huge moment yet, for me, the fact that it happened to me on an internal visual level is honestly so much more magical than having this like crazy moment externally where my life is like changed forever, because I know that it's going to happen. That's the whole point of manifestation. Like, I have all these manifestations, all these things I'm manifesting, all these things I'm working towards, all of these things that I see in my future. And because that shift happened internally, and because I'm still continuing to move forward, like, I know that all of it's going to happen in my external world. It's literally a matter of time, and time takes time. Like, the world that we have that's like matter, it takes time to like actually shift. But I already know, like, that happened 100%. So after I left the house, I didn't tell anyone because I don't know anyone that I could even call to actually talk about this. And so I just was like, okay, this is lit. Like, this is happening. It happened. This is the plan. Like, I know I'm good. Like, I know for a fact. So I come home and I never nap, and I really don't get tired. But I got home and I was like, I am so tired. I had to lay down and take a nap. So I laid down and I took a nap for like about an hour, which again, I never do. So this is another sign that like this is real, like this is happening. It took a lot of energy for me to shift, and I needed to take a nap and wake up and like rest my body. So this is cool. So I wake up from my nap and I wake up to a text message. I was recently talking to a guy, and we weren't like really talking that much, but we were still like chatting here and there. And I woke up to a text message literally while I was sleeping. I wake up that he's getting back with his ex, and that was it. And I was just mind blown. I'm like, I really did just shift. Like, I literally know that happened, like my quantum leap. And then for it to now show up in my life and like just cancel this person that I really didn't need to give any more energy to anyway, like, it was like his soul knew that I shifted, and he was like, I gotta go. And I'm like, yeah, like, thank you. You gotta go. Like, we don't have time for that. Like, we need to be sure here. So anyway, that's just wild. And remember that always what's meant for you will be yours. You attract, you don't chase. You don't need to beg anyone. You are the prize. Like, you are so worthy and worth it. And you attract things. And what's not meant for you literally walks away. So be thankful for that. If someone is like, hey, I'm done, whatever, be like, thank you. Next. Like, move on. You don't need to tell them anything. Just thanks for your time. Great to get to know you. I wish you the best, and move on. You are attracting, you're not chasing. So that night that this whole shift happened, I still didn't really know what was going on. I knew something happened and I knew I quantum leaped, but I didn't really know because I'd never heard anyone talk about this experience happening to them on like an actual internal level. So that night I go to take a bath and I was scrolling on TikTok, which I just got into the TikTok game like 6 months ago. And I'm not going to lie, TikTok is like where it's at. If you're trying to grow or you want to know what's really going on in the world, like TikTok's where it's at. Instagram and Facebook is just, it's not the same. I do feel like I like Instagram's platform better for like the visuals because I like a lot of photos and I like to like read like spiritual stuff. So I think that's good. And TikTok's all videos. But this moment where I was scrolling on the For You page and this guy showed up. Shout out to Brandon West. He posted a video and it said timeline shift. And I was like, what? So I'm watching this video. And if you're interested in the videos, DM me and I'll send it to you. But basically, he was talking about how that week and that weekend, we had a timeline shift and we shifted into the new earth. And if you don't know what I'm talking about and you're interested in this, start to do your own research. I cannot talk about it on this podcast, but basically how we are in a new earth and our collective conscious, because we are all one, and we chose to go into a higher frequency. And so he was talking about this timeline shift and how we shifted into a higher timeline. There are so many people that I've felt this and that are experiencing this. Like, even for me personally, the clouds are so much more beautiful than they were like before this happened to me. And I feel like I just see so much more beauty and like bright lights. And like even at night when I drive, I feel like the lights are just brighter, but they're not like annoying bright. It's like they're like glimmering, like almost like dancing. So anyway, when I saw this timeline shift, I knew that like, yes, like that is what happened to me. And I ended up DMing him and we talked for a while and I just thanked him. I was like, thank you for speaking out about this because I actually had an experience and I really wanted to like know what happened because I never heard about anyone talk about this on an internal level. And so it was just confirmation from the universe that I did indeed experience a timeline shift and my life actually shifted into a higher timeline. For people that are still listening and watching this and are going to come across this, like this is real and we are living in a time of a massive spiritual awakening. There are so many people that are waking up, and COVID was the big thing that really shocked our consciousness, that really got people to wake up. But the spiritual awareness that people are now feeling, they're experiencing is real. And this path is for you as well if you want to choose it. If you don't want to choose it, that's fine. And honestly, you're probably not listening to this message anymore. But this is literally for you too. And all of this whole experience is going to be based off of you opening your mind, opening your heart, and being aware of what is happening around you and allowing the universe to speak to you and paying attention to everything that comes along your path. So I'm talking about like even like nature. Nature is huge. Nature is always speaking. That's the universe speaking to you. So paying attention to animals, butterflies that cross your path, the things that people say to you, the things that show up around you, and like look into it. If you see numbers, like if you see 333, 222, 111, that's all the universe trying to give you a signal and help you along your spiritual journey. So if you start to see things that you all of a sudden you never saw, look into that, because your world is trying to signal to you to wake up. And I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that everything happens for a reason, and that the universe is trying to speak to you and make you aware of how beautiful and amazing this life truly is. I know this for a fact because it always is showing up in my life, and my life is getting better and better and better and better. And I am growing, and my growth is happening, and I'm getting more ideas, and me even doing this podcast, and me really stepping out of my comfort zone, trying to create something of value, trying to help other people. Like, this is happening. And if I can do it, you can do it. So if you've never heard also my 24th podcast, Dream Life, you need to go back and listen to that, because that was the biggest signal that I've ever been given in my life of a message from God that appeared to me in a dream, which was a blue parrot. And then that parrot showed up in my real life. And that was like the moment where I knew that I was actually done questioning all of it. I was just like, okay, I'm going full force into this. Like, I can no longer wait for like signs to tell me, like, is this real? That was my moment that I knew for a fact this is real. And the spiritual world is on our side, signaling to us in our dreams, visions, whatever that is for you. We all have different gifts and abilities. Like, that was when I was like, this is the path. Like, I'm 100% continuing down this. So ask for signs and signals. If you're needing an answer to something, if you are waiting on an answer, like, ask the universe to show you and give you clarity, because it will happen. It's meant to happen for you. I am a huge and true believer that the physical world is 100% spiritual, but it's your responsibility to open up to it. It's your responsibility to look for it and to become aware of it, because so many people walk around life thinking that nothing really matters, and that this world that we live in is not as magical and as beautiful as it actually is. And I feel like when you do that, you're only doing an injustice to yourself, because there is so much abundance surrounding you, literally trying to get your attention so that you can manifest your best and highest timeline. So also something that you can do is start reading a book. So this is the very first book that I read spiritually. It's called The Celestine Prophecy. My older brother, Jared Ward, love you, he gifted this book to me at Christmas. And this is by James Redfield, called The Celestine Prophecy. This book right here literally changed me. So if you are just beginning down your spiritual journey and you really want something to read, which I believe this book really helped open me up to, like, the universe and the universal laws and the universal codes that are constantly being signaled to us, definitely get that book. I read it, but I do listen to a lot of audibles just because obviously I'm busy and I have a lot going on. But I did read this book in like a week. I was literally obsessed with it. And this book really, really opened me up and changed my perspective on a lot. So I would first recommend that. there's obviously so many other books. Joe Dispenza has incredible books. I have one on my counter. Becoming Supernatural. There is the Transcend Consciousness. There's so many good books, but I would definitely start with this book if you are wanting to read something spiritual and really open yourself up to more universal and nature signs. Something I want to remind you of is that on your spiritual journey, you are going to probably lose people, because the thing is when you start to open yourself up, a lot of people are still closed off. This is a personal journey. That's why it's called a journey. Like, you have to experience it and let it speak to your own heart and your own soul. And you will come across people that you can talk to it about, but there are going to be people in your life that you may have to let go of, especially toxic people, toxic relationships, friendships that just really aren't serving you. Maybe you have people in your life that drink a lot, do drugs, anything like that. Maybe they gossip a lot. Like, gossip is you're not going to manifest anything if you're gossiping about people. So you really have to control your tongue and be aware. And that's something I still have to be conscious of that. But I've really eliminated talking about other people, because I now know that the power of life and death is in your tongue. And if you are talking poorly about people, you are activating one of the lowest frequency vibrations possible. And to manifest and to raise your consciousness, you have to be vibrating at the highest possible frequency possible, and as much as possible. And it's definitely going to be a roller coaster for you, but just keep going, and becoming aware is what is the most important. So you're going to have really good days and you're going to have really low days, and you're going to feel like you took 10 steps forward and 5 steps back. But that is part of the journey. And eventually you do break through. Eventually you understand so much more, and you do raise your vibration, and your consciousness is elevated. You are so much more elevated than you were. Like, where I am today is not where I was last year. I started this podcast a little bit over a year ago, and the amount of knowledge and awareness I have now is absolutely insane compared to where I was last year. So just keep going and stay the course. Another big thing for me that really transcended was not drinking. So I know I've talked about that, but today is 12 weeks that I haven't drank alcohol. And that is a personal decision I made purely based off of a feeling and a calling that I had inside. And that was it. I felt like I needed to sacrifice that part of my life. And it was and is the best thing I've ever done. So to raise your vibration, if you really want to do that, I highly recommend not drinking. It is hard the first week, but after that, the amount of energy I have, and I do not miss being hungover at all. And I just feel so much better in my body, and I do not miss being drunk and that whole lifestyle. So yeah, I don't know when that's going to change, if it's going to change. Like, I think the only thing I miss is like a glass of wine with a steak, but I'll definitely be able to do that one day. Just right now, like, I have no interest in drinking. So that is definitely going to elevate your consciousness and help you vibe higher if you stop drinking. And then something for me, and I've talked about this a little bit, but there are going to be times where you go on this journey and you feel completely alone. Your guides, the universe, God, your angels are always with you. You're actually never alone. We're literally never alone. So, but I do want to say that there might be times where you feel alone. And what I can tell you to do is to learn and grow yourself. take a course, read a book, listen to something on YouTube, on Audible. Like when you get those times where you feel alone on your growth journey, just fill your mind with something great. Like you have to change your reality, you have to literally be obsessed with your reality changing. You have to be obsessed with letting the old version of you die and you transcending into the highest version of yourself. So be thankful for the time that you have when you're alone, because eventually, like especially for me being single, not having kids, I love this time. I appreciate this time. And I am growing so much in this time on myself personally, in my business, with my podcast, like everything. I'm really in my growth. So enjoy the time that you get alone and fill yourself with mindset everything. Because if you are going to change and you are going to manifest a new reality, you literally that has to be your number one focus, that you are flooding your mind with affirmations, changing your self-concept, talking to yourself amazing. If you get bad thoughts or negative things come up, you have to turn on something that gets you out of that low frequency, especially the fear. You have to change your mind from the fear and move it to a state of knowing that your life is going to get better. And then eventually you will have your quantum leap, your timeline shift, your experience in your life, whether that be internal or in your external world, where everything does actually change for you. That will happen. It has to. It's a universal law. So just keep that in mind, that it could take, some people it takes 2 months. Some people it takes longer. I would say for me, it took about 10 months of flooding myself with mindset and changing my self-concept to really have like a big blow up in my real estate business. And then it took about a little over a year, it was like 13 months for me to actually have that internal shift in my reality where I saw my reality actually shift. So this is a journey. This is not something that typically happens for people overnight. But what I can tell you is when you go down this path and you commit yourself, you are committing yourself to reprogramming your mind. And reprogramming your mind literally is going to take time, because you've been programmed to who you are in the state of being that you're in now for 30 years, 21 years, however old you are, you've been programmed for that long. So it's going to take serious dedication and self-love for you to reprogram yourself. But when you reprogram yourself, you are that version now. So you don't need to worry that this is something that you're going to have to do forever. It's going to take you dedication of however much time, but then you're going to have a breakthrough, and then you're going to be able to be in that state of that new version of yourself, and you're just going to grow and transcend and help so many other people grow and find their true selves. So it is a journey, but it is so worth it, and it is truly so beautiful. And I'm very excited for you to go down this journey. This journey is supposed to be felt and lived. That's why we're here. We are spiritual beings manifested into this physical world to evolve our souls, to elevate, to create, and to live this life. So don't give up on yourself ever. You are so worth it, and you are going to be met with beauty and grace and love and bliss. It will take some time, but you can change your life. It's never too late, and you are meant to be free. So that's it for today, guys. Please leave me a comment if you have ever had a quantum leap, or you know that yours is coming because you've been in this mindset work for some time, I would love to hear from you and hear your experience. I'm obsessed with this because the more people that experience this phenomenon, it's not really a phenomenon, it's just how we're meant to live. But the more people that experience this, the better. And the more minds that are conscious and elevated, the more beautiful of a life we're going to be living. And the more people will come into your reality that are meant to come into your reality, because there's going to be more of us in the world. So anyway, I would love to hear your experience. Please leave me a 5-star review on Spotify, or also leave me a comment on Apple Podcast. I would really appreciate it. You guys mean so much to me. I'm so thankful to be here. Please connect with me on TikTok and Instagram. Whitney's World _222 is where you can find me. I'm also on Facebook if you want to connect with me there. But I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for listening to this. I hope this helped you. I hope that you know now that you are meant to transcend your life, make your manifestations actually become reality, quantum leap into this new version of yourself. And that is meant for you, and you will have it in time. So keep doing it. Keep fighting the fight. You're going to get there. I love you guys so much. As always, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go.